Welcome! In this lecture, we're going to be creating your very first piece of pixel art. And we're going to cover some of the basic concepts that will be discussed in more detail later on in this course, but we're going to kind of go over them in less detail, really quick to kind of give you an idea and to help you get started. Let's go up here. I've already logged in to Piskel. I went to piskelapp.com. I logged in using my email address, and now I'm just going to do create Piskel. It's going to open up a new window here, and we've got a nice little canvas. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to be creating a basic character for a platform game. Often when you do pixel art, it will be for games. Sometimes people do pixel art just because they like to do the art side of it and for practice, but a lot of the time it will be for video games. So we're going to be doing a character for a platform game. The first technique that we're going to use is a silhouette technique that I really like to use. So we're just going to keep our basic black color. We don't need to get any new color. And we're going to start creating a silhouette of the character that we want to make. And we're going to use basic shapes for this silhouette. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to come and I'm going to draw just a square. Erase that right there. This square right here is going to be the character's head. Okay? Now I'm going to draw a slightly larger square right here. Well, actually this will be more like a rectangle that comes down. This is going to be the character's body, torso area. And the quick key for the bucket, paint bucket, is B. And the quick key for the pen is P. Now we're going to draw some legs, and they're just going to be rectangles as well. Like this. Okay, looking pretty basic. Nothing too fancy here. I'm going to carve off some off the bottom here. Or off the top, I guess I should say. To pull the character down a bit. Now we're going to do the arms. And they're going to be just lines coming out. Like this. In fact, I'm going to do that one at a different angle than this one. A little bit. So this character doesn't look very good yet, but we've just used basic shapes so far. We need to start cleaning up these basic shapes and turning them into slightly more complex shapes. So I'm going to actually give this foot a kind of a little pixel there to indicate that there's a foot there, but this one I'm going to leave this way because this leg is going to be more facing us. I'm actually also going to pull this foot back a little bit. So we're going to pull this back like this and bring the character's leg kind of, I guess you can see that this is their knee now. We're pulling that foot back. I'm going to pull this leg over as well. And just leave it like that actually. Now our character's body is a little bit too thick, so I'm going to start carving. It's almost like you're sculpting, like you're carving away something. Like you've got a chunk of wood and you're carving out the wood. So I'm going to start carving off some pieces around here. Like this. I'm going to actually get rid of that arm completely now. Bring it down more like that. I'm going to carve off this arm a little. Bring it down more as well. I'm just kind of carving here. Just messing around, and I'm using this preview up here because it's really good to be able to see your character from really far away. Because if all you see is up close like this, you're not gonna get a good idea of what the character looks like. So using this preview up here is a really good idea, or just zooming out with your scroll button too can be helpful. So I'm gonna carve this off as well. and add a little bit to this arm. Bring that down. This arm feels like it's going way too far out for me, so I'm gonna pull it in. Okay. This back leg just does not feel right still. So I might actually, for this leg, I might do the same thing that we did on the front leg a bit and pull the front leg back even further so that we've got kind of, well, the character feels a bit off balance that way, so let's pull this leg back the other direction that we had it. I'm adding over on this side because the character just feels unbalanced, so I'm trying to balance out the character. Okay. It's not looking too bad there. So we've got a basic character now. We've got the silhouette. What we need to do now is start adding in some of the colors. So what we're going to do is come over to our palette. We're going to do create new palette. I'm going to name this platform character palette. Now, I'm not going to do anything too fancy. Blue jeans, some whatever color of shirt you want, with shoes kind of like boots, and then normal skin tones, brown hair. Nothing too fancy. So, I'm going to choose for my skin tone. I'm going to choose a lighter tone, and I want to bring in my over here. This is the hue, and you can see this is the actual hue bar right here. Dragging the hue moves this. They're the same thing. Moving either one of those. Let me actually close out of Skype. Didn't realize my Skype was open. So yeah, this is the hue bar. We're going to drag this into right in between red and yellow to get kind of an orange hue. And then I'm going to stay up here on the lighter tones, but also on the left side here, this is less saturation. On the right side here, this is more saturation. You can see that happening. And then down towards the bottom is darker, so you can get darker browns down here if you want a skin tone that's a darker brown. Or up here, it's a lighter skin tone, a lighter value. So, you know, obviously there's thousands of different skin tones that you can choose from. I'm going to choose one right about here. Kind of if you divide this into a tic-tac-toe, it would be the left top corner of the tic-tac-toe grid. So that's the skin tone I'm going to choose. I'm going to do some, add another color here, and this is going to be for the blue jeans. I'm going to go down to the blue, and I'm going to stay over here, kind of on the less saturated, but go a little bit darker. Then I'm going to add another tone. This is going to be for the shirt. For the shirt, I think I'm going to do maybe a little bit of a purple. And I'm going to go less saturated, but lighter. And for the boots, I'm going to go back to my orange hue, come down into the browns right here. Do some darker brown boots. Let's see, I think I've got everything I need now, the basics anyways. So let's save this palette. I'm going to grab the skin tone and come and do the head, the entire head for now. I'll probably use the same color for the hair and the boots. And then I'm going to grab my shirt color, come along like this. These colors are definitely subject to change because I don't like really the way that this shirt matches up with the skin tone. I'm going to do my blue here. See, these values can be darker than they are. I've kept them really quite light. And then get the dark brown here for the boots. Yeah, this is way not dark enough. So let's go back into our palette. You can go to Edit, Manage this palette. So we're going to grab our dark brown here and make it much darker. I think this dark gray here is throwing me off. Our purple we're going to make darker. Our blue we're going to make way darker. The skin tone wasn't too bad though, for what I was going for. So let's go with this brown now. You can see that's much darker. In fact, it might be... Okay. Very nice dark jeans. Our darker purple, we should be using the paint bucket for this. Let's grab the skin tone, grab the hair. I'm going to press P to go back to the pen and draw in some hair here. Okay, just kind of your average character, nothing too unique or special about this character. A lot of pixel artists at this scale don't put eyes on their character. If you want to, you can put eyes like this, or maybe up higher on the head if you wanted to do that. But I actually like to do no eyes at lower resolutions like this. So now what we're going to want to do is think a little bit about the lighting of this picture, because it's just flat colors right now. There's no lighting at all. And it's kind of boring actually because of that there's no lighting. Now we don't want to go too much into the lighting because that'll just get confusing as you're just starting. But we will do some basics. So come into Manage our palette again. We're going to copy the purple. So when you click on a color and then you do Add New Color, it actually adds the purple color, or it adds the color that you were clicked on before. So we were able to add our purple color here. Now I'm just going to darken it. I'm going to actually bring the hue up just a tad into the blues and then darken it a little bit. And that's going to give us a nice darker purple, but we're also shifting the hue just a little bit to make the colors more interesting, to make the palette more interesting. So let's copy our blue as well. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to bring it a little bit higher up into this blue and then make it a little bit darker. We'll do the same with our brown. We're going to bring the brown a little bit more into the yellow and make it darker. And the skin tone, we'll bring this a little bit into the yellow as well, make it a little bit darker. Save. So we've got some new values here that we can use for shading. And we went to the darks. We went to the dark side. So we're drawing dark instead of drawing light, which I actually generally prefer to draw light. So the way that we'll do this is we'll swap all our colors out. We're going to grab the dark purple here. We're going to grab the bucket to fill in the darker purple. We're going to grab the dark blue, fill that in, the dark brown, fill these in, the darker skin tone, fill these in. Kind of looks like a zombie now. So now we're going to be drawing on the light. And you need to think of where your light source is. So for this image, I'm just going to imagine, oops, that's not what I was trying to do. So I'm going to do Control Z. For this image, just imagine that there's sunlight coming down from up here. Okay, so I'm drawing this really horrible arrow up here that represents the sunlight coming down onto the image. So we're going to want to think about where the light is going to hit this character. It's easier to think about where the light is going to hit the character than it is to think about where the shadows are going to be sometimes. So if you grab the lighter blue, if the sun's coming down like this, it's probably going to hit on these legs right here. We're going to get some light there. We're going to get some light along here like this. We might have some shadows underneath like that. Excellent, erase that. Now, if we grab our lighter purple, we're probably going to have some light hitting this shirt like this. Probably up on that shoulder too, and just on the edge of the other sleeve. Like that. The light's probably going to come most of the way across the chest here. Like this, and it's going to hit on this arm. Like that. And come down on the stomach as well. Like this. So we're going to get some light hitting our character like that. And it's going to hit this shoulder a lot too, probably. But we still want some dark under here to show that. It's probably good. So now let's draw the face. There's going to be quite a bit of light hitting the face right here, but we'll have some darker back here and that's probably the ear right there. We'll have some darker back here for where the hair is creating shadow, like that. And then for our boots, the light's going to be hitting the top of the shoes down here. And for our hair, it's definitely going to be hitting up here and along the top of this a little bit and down these sides like that. There's going to be some shadow under there probably. And this lighter brown, actually, I'm going to lighten it just a little bit more. So let's manage the palette. Come into the lighter brown. Just pull the value up a little bit. If you want to make sure you do only value and not saturation, you can come down here and grab that. And then I'm going to fill that in. This paint tool right here will paint all pixels of the same color. So if I use that, it's going to hit these down here as well. So now our character is much more interesting with a little bit of lighting, and we've only used 2 different values for each color basically. But the benefit is that keeps things really... Whoops. I need to switch back to the pen. I'm going to draw some light on our fists here, on the hands. The benefit is that keeps things really simple for our character. There's not a lot that we have to worry about for this character because there's only a couple different values. But from far back, which is what everyone's going to see in the game, for a pixel art character, it's going to look really good to have this basic lighting. So, great job. You've created your first character using pixel art with just some simple techniques. Just as a review, we silhouetted the character out. We picked some colors. Well, first we used basic shapes to silhouette the character out. And we kind of carved at those basic shapes to create more complex shapes. And then we picked some colors. We filled in just the flat colors on a character. Then we picked some more colors and we started to draw the light in to our character to where we imagined that the light would hit the character. And using those simple techniques, we're able to create a pretty cool character. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next lecture.